So I'm just about to start my brew day now. It's 20 past 2. No, 20 past 1. So I've got my big stock pot on, and I've got 10 litres of water in there, and I've just got it on the gas. Trying to heat it up to the strike temperature of 160 Fahrenheit. So that might take a while with that amount of water. So I got my grain bag here, which is what I'm going to put my grain in to put into that stock pot at the strike temperature. But before that, I've got some water treatment stuff to do. So it's recommended that I add some lactic acid to the water itself, and also some gypsum, which is calcium sulfate, to the grain, and mix it in with that, and then stick it in the grain bag for the mash. Right, well the water is almost up to temperature now, but I'm going to do some water treatment stuff now. So I've got my measure of lactic acid, which is 2.5 millilitres to put into that strike water first of all, and then I've got my bag of malts, 3 kilograms of it there, with the Marisota and some crystal malt on the top. So for the water treatment I need to put 1 teaspoon of this gypsum into that. Other things I'm doing, mix up a sterilising solution with the sodium metabisulfate just in a bowl, so I can stick a hydrometer and other things that need to be sterilised into it. Right, so I've got the strike water up to 170 Fahrenheit now. So now I've just managed to transfer all my malts into my bag, out of the carrier bag, quite effectively without wasting too much by putting it into my other pan and just pulling up the net over the bag as I poured it in. A bit of mess around the outside. So anyway, yeah, I'm going to put my lactic acid into this water here. And then I'm going to measure the temperature again. And then stick this malt in. There we go. Alright, so I'm waiting for the water to cool a bit. Probably heating it to 170 probably isn't the best idea. It takes ages to lose the heat. So now it's down to 162 and it's 2 o'clock, so I'm just going to stick it in with that and write down the strike heat is 162. So I'm going to put my grain bag in. Put an elastic band around the top, and I'm going to do a float in there. I think it's going to sink. I want to get the lid on it so I can keep the temperature at, or it is 150. 150. Right. So yeah, the grain's starting to absorb the water there. Another bag's sinking. So, lovely malty smell coming off of it. Oh yes, it's starting to bubble. I guess that's the air coming out of the malt. Okay, so I'm gonna. I don't want that elastic band to go. I'll just trap the net around the edge so the elastic band's going to stay out of it. Now I've just got to monitor the temperature for the next hour of mashing to try and keep it constant at 150 Fahrenheit. So take a reading every 20 minutes or so. Get the timer running. Yeah, exactly 2 o'clock. Right, put my grain bag in now. It's been in there for 5 minutes. I just read in my book that I should leave it open, so I've taken the elastic band off and I've left it open. Maybe give it a bit more room to move, I guess. But then I checked the temperature, and from the strike temperature of 163 Fahrenheit, it's actually increased. Everything else said it should drop. So wait and see. But yeah, I'm just going to keep taking temperature measurements. I guess it's going to drop at some point. But that's slightly odd. So still doing the mash here. It's just after 2:30, so I've taken 2 temperature measurements. It seems to have settled down to about 150, which is what it should be. So I'm trying to maintain that. It dropped down a bit, so I'll put the hob back on kind of low, like maybe a third of its power on the big burner, and that seems to be fine. So I'll monitor the temperature, and yeah, done in 25 minutes. So got my mash almost done now. I think it's been mashing a bit hot. It's been fluctuating, and when I had it on the heat again, it kind of went up to high 50s. I don't know how best to keep it constant at 150. Maybe less heating. So anyway, yeah, 5 minutes to go on that. So I'm heating up this sparge, water in to get it ready for that. So then I'm going to put the grain bag, pull the grain bag out of this, drain it a bit, and then put it in here when that reaches 160 Fahrenheit. Right, doing the sparge now. It's a bit awkward with this pot. It's not really big enough. I've only been able to put 4 litres of water in it as well. I want to put the grain bag in, it bloody overflowed. So do with a bigger pot for this, because I've had to kind of scoop out half a litre here and there after a bit of sponging, kind of holding the bag above it so it doesn't overflow, and then putting it back in here. So probably, we only got 2.5, maybe 3 litres of water in there. And it's not really covering the grain bag, so it's not getting everything out. So I'm trying to just like rotate the grains in it. And they're definitely still sweet, so they got sugar in them, which is what's supposed to get out through this sparging. So we'll see how it goes. We'll do this for another 5 minutes or so. Right, that's all the sparging done now. It's kind of a pain. I had to hold this bag up for 5 minutes as it was draining out. But yeah, just been checking like that it's still sweet and what's coming out of it, and not tasting like tea, which is an indication that the tannins starting to come out of the husks, I think. So I think it's all good, and yeah, I think it's finished draining now. On my arms, I've had enough of it. So yeah, I'm gonna get rid of that grain somehow, put it in a bag and chuck it, and then put the second run-ins back into the first, and get a good boil on. Alright, so I've got the boil on now. It's been on for like 10 minutes now. Starts to get hot. I've kept the lid on, even though it says don't keep the lid on, because it's nowhere near the boil yet. It's about 170. Boiling in Fahrenheit 210. So it's nowhere near that yet. I'm starting to see. It's interesting. Lots of swirling patterns. With some clear stuff with some dark kind of opaque stuff swirling around with it, which I guess is the proteins. It'll start to form a bit of foam on the top, which is what I'm expecting the hot break to look like. It starts to foam over the top. I have to watch out for that, because sticky malty liquid all over the cooker. I've already had to clean all that from the sparge. So yeah, just waiting for that. I'm going to try and empty my grain bag out into the carrier bag. I've got as much water as I can out of it, so hopefully that'll be alright. Right, so the hot break has begun now on the boil. So I'll go and have a look what the hot break looks like. So yeah, you can see the like light foam over the top of it as it's beginning to boil. What temperature is it at? It's getting towards 90 degrees C there, so I think I'm going to have to start chucking some hops in soon. There you are, you can see what that head looks like. I guess that's good. The more we got, the clearer your beer is going to be. Right, so the boil's still going on, hot break's still looking good. I've just read that, yeah, it doesn't need to be actually vigorously boiling when you put your first hops in for bittering. So I'm going to open my hops now. Like I said, cut off the top and then jab a knife in the side of it. Yeah, they're kind of tough. Ugh. Well, good hoppy smell then. There we go. Oh shit! Run a knife along the outside, and then whoa! Now the big block like that. Interesting. Alright, so I guess just chop this up and chuck some in. Interesting. Right, I'm just whacking me a bitter in hops in here. Right, it's a pretty solid block, so I've had to like break it up in my hands, and then yeah, weighed out 25 grams. For the bitter in hops, so I'll break into bits and just chuck it in the heads. Yeah, it's pretty thick now, the hop break. So now, yeah, it's a good vigorous boil. I'll turn the heat down a bit just to steady it. Starting the timing for the boil from now, which is 4:10. Oh yeah, yeah. Once it goes in the boiling water, they start to all come apart and expand and look like proper cones and hops. That's all good, I think. Let's give it a bit of a stir now. So this is what the boil looks like at the moment, just with the bitter and hops in there, floating around. So yeah, sitting on about 100. And it's smelling like a brewery now. Once the hops have got going with the malty smell, it's exactly the kind of smell you'd expect. So half an hour I think on the boil, and then I'll stick me aroma hops in. I'll get my stuff all sterilised, ready for the chill, and then chucking it in the fermenter. I'm gonna have to sterilise that as well, so I better get on with that. Right, so that's the boil finished. I put another 10 grams of hops in right at the end. So now I'm gonna chuck it in the sink with a load of cold water first of all, just fill it up, and then I'm gonna put the ice in. Hopefully that'll be enough to reduce the temperature of it to 60 Fahrenheit. So everything's sanitized for now. The lid of the stock pot, hydrometer and a spoon. It's all ready to Right, so I got the chill done. It was really difficult to chill the top half of the stock pot because it was still hot, but then when I put the thermometer down to the bottom, it was about 20 degrees there, so I was hoping that, yeah, if I put it into the fermentation barrel, that the temperature will even out a bit. So yeah, it was a real pain to get in the fermentation barrel with the sieve to filter out all the trub. But basically, yeah, I tried to do it in a jug to pour some in, but I was spilling so much that I just thought, oh, I might as well just go straight for the stock pot. So yeah, let's lift that straight up, put it all in, and yeah, the sieve keeps getting blocked by trub, and then yeah, end up with it running over the edges onto the floor. But then yeah, it's just amazing the amount of trub that's in there, just from those few hops that I put in. Like, that's quite a lot. But yeah, so I've got close to me 10 litres in my fermentation barrel, so I think it's all good. So I'm going to check the temperature again and chuck some yeast in. So now I've got the tidy up left. A whole load of trub in there that I'm going to have to get out, put in the bin. I've got an incredibly sticky floor from the spillage, which is a bit annoying. So I'll have to give that a scrub as well. But here it is. Here's the fermentation barrel. It's got its airlock in the top, and I'll put a little jacket around it just to try and keep the temperature up. I'll measure it tomorrow after yeast kicks in a bit. I could do with getting a stick-on thermometer to stick on the side of it. So yeah, this is its home in the bathroom for a week.